Yeah.
So now that we know a bit more about triangles, how about we relate the angles and the sides? Now you ask, how do you do that? So there are three types of trigonometric ratios that compare different sides of the triangle. A good way to remember them is SOHCAHTOA, S-O-H-C-A-H-T-O-A. Now, the three types of trigonometric ratios are sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and then tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Now you ask, what is the opposite adjacent hypotenuse? Well, the hypotenuse, you probably already know what that is. That's the longest side on a right triangle. Now, these types of ratios only work on right triangles. The opposite is the angle that the triangle opens up to, or faces. Now, the angle, which will be referred to as theta, is usually one of the acute angles on the right triangle. Alright, let's try to practice this. So we have a right triangle, and we want to find the opposite side of the angle theta, which is 30 degrees. We know the hypotenuse is 12 centimeters, so let's go from there. So the equation will be sine of theta is equal to the opposite over hypotenuse. Since we're trying to find the opposite side, and we already have the hypotenuse, we will use sine. So sine of 30 degrees is equal to the opposite divided by 12. So you could think of it as sine of 30 degrees is equal to x divided by 12. So to get x alone, let's multiply 12 by both sides. So you'll have 12 times sine of 30 degrees is equal to x. Now, you won't be able to do that in your head. You'll have to use a calculator. So if you do that, sine of 12 times sine of 30 degrees, you'll get about 6. So now you know the opposite of the triangle, or the opposite side of the triangle. So let's try to finish this triangle. This triangle doesn't have the adjacent side. Now the adjacent side is the side that the angle touches, or the angle is formed by, that is not the hypotenuse. So now we know that there's 6 and 12, so we can actually use Pythagorean theorem to figure out the left side, or we could use tangent. So let's use tangent since that's new. So it will do it as this. It will be basically the same thing, except you'll have tangent of theta, tangent of 30, is equal to adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So the adjacent we don't know, so we'll call that x, and then the hypotenuse is 12, just like last time. So multiply 12 on both sides, and we'll do the same thing. 12 times cosine of 30 degrees. And then your answer is going to be it's going to be a radical. It's not going to be a whole number. So you'll simplify the radical, and the simplified radical will be 6 times the square root of 3. Now tangent is a tangent. You can do the same thing. It works the exact same way. You'll just use different ratios on the calculator.